What up guys, welcome back to the channel. It's DJ. Today we're going to be talking about what are the similarities and differences between Pokemon collecting and Pokemon investing. I think this is a pretty decent topic to talk about because not many people do talk about it, and it does sound simple. We already know, collecting and investing, they're a little bit different but the same at the same time. So I want to dive into it and talk about it a bit more, so hopefully we can find out some differences and some similarities and you can pick your path. Now guys, if you are new to the channel, the name is DJ. I post videos every 2 days, all Pokemon content pretty much. Pokemon investing videos, Pokemon giveaways, Pokemon pack openings, so variety of stuff, plenty more different content on the channel coming up soon. Stuff that you probably don't really see too much of on other channels. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, I don't know, but I definitely do a large variety of different Pokemon stuff. So if you like that, make sure you do subscribe. Enter some of my giveaways I have at the moment. I have a 400 subscriber giveaway right now and a 1000 subscriber giveaway, which is a booster box, so you can enter either one of those or both. So yeah, moving on. Cue that intro, let's get talking. Alright guys, just like I always do, we start off with the basics. We're gonna say that there are 3 types of people in this hobby right now, and one of them are collecting, one of them is investing, and one of them is doing both, a combination, which I classify myself as, because I collect and I invest, so I do both. So guys, the evolution line of how this works is a lot of the time we all start off as collectors. I don't think there was many investors at all at the beginning of Pokemon. Everyone was just in it for collecting. Most of us, yeah? I would say a large, I don't know, anyone, maybe even Gary wasn't really, Gary from Porn Stars. I don't think he was even investing at the time. They were just purely collecting. Everyone says they started off collecting, they liked it, and then later down the line, they grew into investing because they saw some value, they saw the money side of things, and they ended up doing either both or one or the other. I find that most investors in today's day and age are usually, if they're just purely doing investing and they're not really collecting and stuff, I wouldn't really say that they're fans. They might be, but like, I know that a lot of us all started off collecting first before we even thought about investing, or we do both right now, because it's hard to give up in collecting. If you really like it, you still collect now, and the investing side of things is kind of a bonus. But there are people out there that have other collectibles, or coin collections or comics, all those kind of things. So, and when they see these other values, they might just jump in and buy a few Charizards to kind of raise their stocks in a way. So that's what they do. So I find that if you're purely just investing in Pokemon, you're probably not the hugest fan. You're just looking at the values of things, whereas collectors, you get what I mean. The main difference between the two is collectors are usually based on emotional feelings. That's their motivation to buy products. So they base a lot of their stuff on emotions and how they feel about certain cards. So I have plenty of friends that do different kind of collecting. So I know someone who just collects Venusaurs and that's all. That's his favorite Pokemon. He doesn't really care about any other Pokemon. So that's what he collects, right? Take me for an example, right? I like Primeape. He's my favorite Pokemon for several reasons. I always just liked when he came on the anime, when he was pretty much taking down every Pokemon Ash, Brock, and Misty were throwing at him, and he was just demolishing them. And I just liked that, the way he did that. It was like from Mankey, and he was throwing the rice balls, you know what I mean? So yeah, then he evolved into Primeape, and then he just killed everyone until Charmeleon came along, obviously, and Ash caught him, which was really cool, until he gave him away, which I didn't like. So guys, if I was collecting Primeape cards, for example, because I really like Primeape, that'd be a collector's kind of goal or dream for some people. I personally don't do it, but I could. So that's what I mean with collectors. I feel like there's no right or wrong way to collect. A lot of people say, DJ, I feel like I'm gonna start collecting again. What should I start collecting in? And the basic, most simple, most everyone's answer would be collect what you like, collect what you love, because technically there is real no right or wrong, because this is, when you're talking about collector's goals and just collecting, you're thinking about the cards that you want, the cards that you like, the cards that you love, like not really about values or money, things like that. We will touch on that in just a sec. So guys, we established collecting is mainly based on emotional feelings, whereas investing, we're thinking more about money and values and how much is this gonna be worth, how fast is this gonna grow, how much was this back in the day and how much is it now. We're thinking a bit more market analysis and, you know, should you grade your card, conditions, keep your product sealed, like a lot of analysis kind of things, a lot of thinking, and it makes sense. You know, investing is kind of an adult term. You know, when you invest in stocks or you're investing in your bank account, like you're putting your savings account and looking at the interest, looking at it grow. So you are constantly thinking, being cautious in what you invest in, making sure you do your homework, you do your research, and it's a lot more of a serious note. And like if you're purely investing in Pokemon, that's pretty much what you're doing. But like with me, for example, I do collecting and investing. So at the same time, some of these things that I collect, I like myself, and they just happen to be great investments. Like they do rise in value just naturally. So it's pretty cool how that works if you're in that world of doing both. And I think a lot of us are. I don't see that many people just come in just to invest. There are some, I've heard of some. I don't know them personally, but yeah, some people just come in just to invest money, just throw thousands of dollars into some Charizards. I think that guy who bought the Hidden Fates Charizard, the $10,000 one, at the very start, I'm pretty sure he was just an investor. So he was a guy just coming into the hobby just to get a Charizard because he knew Charizard's popular and there's a good chance that it could rise in value. The only issue is, like, obviously, we know what the issue was. You know, there's plenty of it, and he came in just way too early with, I guess, the wrong kind of mindset or wrong kind of thinking. If you're in this hobby and you're a collector and you know how these things go, you probably wouldn't have made that purchase. And I guess that could be a downfall for some investors if they never were a collector and they just coming in to just invest. So, but you guys can pick your own path. You can be an investor, you can be a collector, or you can do both. It really doesn't matter. I guess I'm just kind of trying to break them down between the two, differentiating and also telling you guys the similarities and what some people just do naturally. They don't even know. I wasn't even sure if I was investing or what. I just thought I was collecting at some stage, and then all of a sudden one day I'm like, hey, this is worth something. You know, put this aside, this is now an investment. Or, you know, some people keep them separate, you know. It really depends. Main differences are collecting mainly emotional feelings, and investing is more money value, more research, more homework, right? And you know, you can mesh the two together because I'm going to mention the similarities just about now. So guys, number one similarity they have, or the things that link them together, is you have to buy products. If you're going to invest in Pokemon, you need to buy Pokemon products. If you're collecting in Pokemon, you got to buy Pokemon products. So at the end of the day, you're going to have to buy products in order to do either or. Now, when it comes to collecting, I already said there's kind of technically no right or wrong way to collect. So you can just buy whatever you want. And that's the thing with collecting. Some things have emotional value to you. Your first card might have been like a Dratini from base set or something like that. And you know, there's none on the market except this $10 or $15 one, and you'd be like, I'll pay $15 for that uncommon card from base set. So, you know, and someone else might look at that, like an investor might look at that, and it's like, $15 is a lot of money for just one card, for one uncommon, non-holo WotC card. So they probably wouldn't buy that as an investment. So that could be seen as the difference between the two. Or just like I said before with Primeapes, for example, if I was collecting Primeapes because I like Primeape, he's my favorite Pokemon, well, he's probably not the best investment based on popularity, based on growth and research. But you know, at the end of the day, if I like Primeape and that's what I want to collect, who's to stop me from collecting them? So guys, when it comes to investing, you're obviously doing that homework and stuff. So you'll be looking at cards, even cards that you don't necessarily like, or you might not personally collect, and you'd be purchasing them up, or like, you know, hidden fates. Maybe you are not a fan of modern sets, or Charizards, for example. A lot of people like Charizards, but there's also a lot of people that don't. There's some people think he's overrated. So, you know, but you kind of know as a person who invests and you're looking at the figures, you're like, this is a great investment. If I buy a Charizard now, there's a good chance that it will grow in value. Not 100%. Nothing is a sure thing investing in Pokemon wise, but there is a good chance that the Charizard sets will go up in price, and that's what a lot of us think. So a lot of us will put money into it. So there are people that simply just think like that too, so that's okay too. But that's the difference between the mindset when it comes to buying the product. So an investor is a bit more careful, a bit more selective. They might buy stuff that they don't necessarily like, but they think will grow in value. Whereas a collector would buy stuff mainly because of their personal feelings and what they grew up on and what they like. Next similarity, guys, is fun. So obviously this is a hobby and we like Pokemon cards for a reason, for whatever reason it is, but I think both investors and collectors can have fun with what they do, mainly because of goals that they set. When people set some goals for themselves and they hit those goals, or they hit those collection goals or investing goals, you can just be proud and be happy. So as a collector, you might complete base set in your binder, Gym Heroes, Gym Challenge, or you might complete WotC sets, and you might be like, wow, like I completed some sets, or I completed the entire base set in my binder, and that makes you happy. That's fun for you. Like you searched up each card, you bought them, and you collected them. Whereas investors, they can also have fun in their own way, where they look at all the products they've invested in and either see the growth in it or not. But if there is growth in it, then I think that's a definitely fun way. I've definitely looked at some of my investments and looked at the growth with it and be like, wow, like I did a good job with that investment, or wow, that didn't really grow, but I still like it. And that's gonna lead me up to my next point. The other similarity, guys, which was my next point, is what you do buy can be valuable, or what you do collect can be valuable. And that's how they kind of link with each other. So if you're a collector and you actually like Charizards, like that's your favorite Pokemon, and it just so happens that Charizard's a very popular Pokemon and that it is also very valuable. So if you were always collecting Charizards because that's your favorite and that's who you wanted to collect, that's who you liked, at the same time it's a win-win because it ends up being a great investment too. So I think that's how a lot of us got into the whole doing both, collecting and investing. So yeah, if you're buying Charizards or you're buying popular stuff, like you like Hidden Fates personally, and you've bought tons of Hidden Fates, or you've bought tons of Burning Shadow booster packs or booster boxes, or Jungle or Fossil or whatever the set is, or whatever the cards are, if you genuinely like it, it might accidentally be very popular with everyone else as well and bring that price up, that demand up. And obviously it depends what you got. The supply could be low, scarcity, rarity, all that stuff could go in your favor. I think a great example of that, guys, is my friend Electric Type 88. He's got a lot of sealed products that he is genuinely happy about, and he's mentioned that a lot in his videos. And you know, it just makes you think, you know, he's collected these things, right? These are investments of his, but he's invested in things that he also likes. So at the end of the day, if tomorrow for some reason all of his stuff is worth zilch, worth nothing, he wouldn't care because he actually likes it. And that's where, you know, you can think about with other investments when you do stocks or shares or whatever like that, and it's purely based on money. This is obviously collectible. This is a hobby. This is tangible stuff. You can hold it. With money, you can hold, but a lot of it's digital now. So you'd be looking at the growth in your money in those shares or those stocks, and when they're growing, you're feeling happy. Whoa, I bought these stocks, 100 stocks at $1 each, and now they're worth $5 each. So that's $500 worth of stocks instead of 100. So the growth is like, wow, that's so cool. I'm happy. Whereas if it does drop and it's worth 0, you'd be like, I lost $100, really, a bit down. Whereas with Pokemon, guys, if you did these collectors, like your items are valuable and you've collected them, and the next day it's worth nothing, I don't think a lot of us would be like super sad, right? Because we collected it for a reason. We collected it because we liked it, but at the same time, at one stage they were valuable, and if they're worth nothing, it's fine. You don't really it's different to any other investment, right? You don't really care so much because you still like that item. It doesn't really go to waste. So I guess what you can think of it like when you go to a movie or you go out for dinner, how much do you spend on that movie or that dinner? And you'll never get that money back. You got that experience, and you're not going to complain that I went to saw this movie and I spent $20. It was a bad movie. I want my $20 back. But a lot of people say that. But at the end of the day, it's like, you went out with your friends, you went to see the movie together. It was an experience. You all hated it. And technically you had all that in common, and it was more of a bonding thing. So like $20, it doesn't matter. I feel like that could be the same with Pokemon, where you're buying things, you're collecting things because you like it, and it just so happens that they're valuable at the same time. So if the next day they're not valuable, you would care less because you had a fun time. You've had your time collecting, you've had fun. So guys, in conclusion, obviously collecting and investing can be very similar in some ways, and I think a lot of us are mainly doing both or just doing one. I think there's a lot of collectors out there. Maybe the younger generation's not really thinking about investing just yet, but people my age, 30-year-olds, high 20-year-olds are considering keeping things sealed. I think as long as you're having fun with it still and not purely investing, I know there's still plenty of people that just purely invest, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just find it a bit easier to know what you're doing. And you can probably make better judgments with your investments if you're a collector first, an investor second. And these are just my opinions, of course, but I found that it works a lot better when you're actually genuinely interested in Pokemon or just all the items. You tend to do better research. You tend to be, always on the ball, always looking for great deals, always knowing prices, things that really help you like with your investments, but at the same time help you grab your collection goals that you want to have, which I will do a video on my collection goals soon. So guys, I just want to say, I think you can have fun. I think you can have fun either way, whether you're investing or you're collecting, and I think that's why I do both. I would never classify myself as purely an investor, and I wouldn't say I am just a collector, because I think I put my foot in both camps, right? I have plenty of different stuff, binders, PSA cards, some sealed boosters, some sealed booster boxes coming soon as well. Like that's just me. At the same time, my investments are kind of like my collection, like part of my collection. I never really separate the two, and sometimes I might say this is my booster pack art set collection, but at the same time it's my booster pack art set collection / investment. So guys, let me know what you think. Are you a collector? Are you an investor? Or are you like me? Do you do both? And tell me what your opinions are. Do you think there's one way to go about it? Do you think I'm right about that you can have fun either way? Do you reckon collecting is more fun than investing? Or, you know, do you think there's a right or wrong way to collect? Because I think there is slightly a right or wrong way to invest. You got to be a bit smart with that. You got to make the right choices, pick the sets, pick the cards that are going to be worth something with research, even though you can only do so much with research, you never know. But what about with collecting? Do you think there's a right or wrong way to collect? I think we've got that general intellectual consensus that collecting is purely emotional, fun, and you know, you can collect whatever you want, whatever Pokemon you want, and it wouldn't be the wrong thing because you're doing what you like. All right, guys, that is all. Make sure you share your comments down below, share your opinions. I love it. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and enter my giveaways. See you guys in 2 days' time. Bye.